Today in Lesson 7, Miracles, the Serious Wounds of the Earth, Sheen continues in helping us understand this authentication of the messenger from God. Remember giving us the three modes of authentication, of credibility. One being preannounced, the second being miracles. So here in Lesson 7, he gives us a deep understanding of miracles. He first defines what is a miracle. And is a miracle in violation of the laws of nature? He gives us the understanding, no. He goes to showing us his like that of a train station. In a train station, there are tracks that are going all over, and yet there's a tower that is in control of these trains as they switch from track to track. You may not see the person moving the levers, but this is what's happening. So in nature, we may not see the hand of God moving his levers, as Sheen gives us that understanding, but it's happening. And yet, he says that a miracle is merely the suspending of a law of nature. He gives us the perfect example, a ball that bounces through the law of gravity would come down, but here it takes the hand of a child that could merely suspend that law. And so when Jesus puts his hand, as it were, into the laws of nature, his hand could suspend the laws of nature, authenticating him that he was the Lord of creation. In the Gospels, we have 35 references to the miracles that Jesus performed. And yet in the Gospel of John, it says many more things that Jesus do than what is written here. I think of the greatest miracle, or shall I say the second greatest miracle. It was the rising of his friend Lazarus. So here was Lazarus, his friend, who got ill. They sent him messages that he was ill. And yet, Jesus waited. He waited and his friend died. They buried his friend. He missed the funeral. 4 days his friend laid in that tomb. When Jesus finally arrived, his sister even said, he's been dead for 4 days. There was no doubt that Lazarus was dead. Matter of fact, there was a level of disappointment that why didn't he raise his own friend? Why didn't he heal his own friend? Wow, his friend was dead. And yet Jesus arrives there. He looks up to the heavens and he thanks the Father. He thanks him. And that he then calls out to Lazarus. For all to see, Lazarus, who had been dead for 4 days, rises again. Oh, can you imagine that day? Oh, what a day that was. It had to hit every news. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone knew Lazarus. Everyone knew that he had died, and now he had risen again. But Jesus would perform this miracle again, but now in his own life. Jesus comes into Jerusalem. They're expecting a king. And then when they don't find that king, they decide to crucify him. They didn't want Jesus on his terms. They wanted him on their terms. They crucified him. And yet the tomb couldn't hold him. For the third day, he rose again. Sheen gives us that understanding. It is this empty tomb that helps us understand that this is where we are to leave our doubts, in that empty tomb. For surely the risen Lord is the proof of yours and my resurrection. God love you.